Hold on to your wine glasses. Heather's back.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
You are now listening to Home of Halloween's podcast. This is the horror movie review podcast run and controlled by you, the listeners.
You wanna die tonight?
You choose the movies I review. You also get to have your say in the 3-word review.
Next time you fucks contributed something to the cause.
I promise you, you have never heard a podcast like this before, so welcome to the You Run podcast.
Are we having fun now?
No.
Welcome to a very, very strange episode of the You Run podcast. I'm currently in the depths of the New Forest. It's very dark. There's a video you'll see on this later. Let's not fuck around. Here's the trailer for The Blair Witch.
This is my home, which I am leaving the comforts of for the weekend to explore the Blair Witch. I can see you.
I'm real excited about this. Thank you for the
I'm very
opportunity.
glad.
This area's been haunted by that old woman for years.
I don't know why you have to have every conversation on video.
Because we're making a documentary.
Not about us getting lost. We're making a documentary about a witch.
I don't.
We're lost. Admit that first.
No, I know we're not lost.
They're all over the place.
So how do we know it was people?
Well, even if it wasn't, I'm not going to play with that either.
And it's all because of me that we're here now. Hungry and cold and hunted. Just want to apologize to Mike's mom and Josh's mom and my mom.
Tell me where you are, John!
I'm gonna die out here.
Okay, review of The Blair Witch. The Blair Witch revolutionised horror in many, many ways, especially that found footage horror. There were ones that come before, but The Blair Witch is kind of the benchmark that everything sets itself on. I can understand why it's scary. I sat here in the dark now looking around. I can see no more than 6-7 foot in front of me, and that's with a torch on me. I can honestly say here in the woods it is genuinely terrifying, and this is the shittest idea I've ever had for an episode of the show. The Blair Witch follows a very simple story. 3 friends decide to make a documentary on the Blair Witch. They venture off into the forest and get lost. While they're lost in the forest, they are tormented by sounds and bangs and noises in the night. This then progresses and they decide to get the fuck out. Trying to find their way out, they go in big circles and they end up back at the same place they did before. They find various different totems and figures hanging in the trees, which I've actually made one. There's one on my YouTube channel and I think it's on Instagram somewhere as well. I don't know if you can hear in my voice, but I genuinely am not a happy camper right now. It's not nice out here. I don't have a huge amount else to say about the Blair Witch apart from it's genuinely terrifying.
What's up behind you?
Fuck off. No. No. Is there anything behind? What the fuck? Fuck, it was my shadow. Fuck. Did you catch that on camera? You are videoed, aren't you, Jace? Yeah, you are. Yeah. All of this is staying in. You're going to get to see me shit myself. I turned my head and cast a shadow on a tree behind me. This is the shittest idea I've ever had. Rounding up on the Blair Witch, they end up in a house, and they were never found again. And the story of the Blair Witch is that their footage was found many years later. And when it was released as that was fact. It wasn't released as a movie. It was released as almost billed to us as a documentary. And that's what made it so different and so revolutionary. I think I'm going to call it a day now because we've hiked a fair way in, and if I'm being brutally honest, I want to get the fuck out because it's dark and I don't like it.
Fucking hell, there's fog coming in as well.
Fuck off. On the show later today, we've got the return of Heather from Wednesday Wine and Horror, and we also we know for a fact that she loves camping with the vehement passion, and having experienced this, I get it. I understand why she doesn't fucking like it. So Heather from Wednesday Wine and Horror's on, but first of all, I'm going to get home somewhere nice and warm with a cold beer and the TV and all the luxuries of home life, and we're going to hear your 3-word reviews.
All I want to do is get out of here, man. I'm not fucking around.
That's all I want to, man.
I'm indoors, I'm happy, I have a beer. I could not be a happier camper now. I made a mistake when I was in the forest and I said that 3-word reviews are up next. And when I make mistakes and I record the show, if I fuck something up like that, I'll go back and re-record it. I am not going back into the fucking forest to record again. That is absolute fact. So I made a mistake, now I'm covering it. 3-word reviews are not next, they're later. What is next is your scores. So you scored the quality of this movie at 75%. There's a 75% chance you are going to enjoy this movie. Then you scored the fear, and you scored the fear at 49%. Only a 49% chance this would scare you. And if I'm honest, I think your score's a little light, that this would score higher for me. First time I watched it, it genuinely scared me. But those are your scores. It's the You Run podcast. You score the movie, so that's where we are. 75% quality of the movie and 49% chance that it's going to scare you. Now moving into the rest of the episode. I'm not doing anything else alone. I'm not wasting any more time. Let's welcome Heather Slimon, the host of Wednesday Wine and Horror.
It's not as if she were a maniac, a raving thing. She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes, haven't you? Did you know I'm utterly insane? Utterly insane.
Don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create cycles! Movies make cycles more creative!
Like scary movies.
And welcome back, Heather. Welcome back to the show. It's been so long.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's been a couple of months, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe longer than that.
Maybe a bit longer. I think you were on
Yeah.
episode 6 of season 2. Was it 6?
Yeah.
5? It's been a long time.
It has been a while. I don't look, to be honest with you, at this point, I don't know the numbers. I was on the show. Super cool that you asked me to come back. I'm really excited because, I get to podcast and that's a lot of fun. I get to talk shit. It's my favorite thing to do.
and we picked a movie that we know you have strong feelings about, the camping, the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a good movie. I mean, aside from the horrid camping and being in the woods and everything else, no, it's a pretty good movie. I'm glad we picked this one.
Yeah, I am. But before we get into that, I want to know what you've been up to.
Okay, so of course, I do have my own podcast, Wednesday Wine and Horror. I did take a small break. I say a small break. This is what happened. I'll sum it up. So I was like, I'm going to take a 2-week break. Okay, 2 weeks turned into 3, and then 3 turned into almost 2 months. And, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I've got to get my ass up. I've got to start podcasting again. Well, in the meantime, when I was taking my break from my show, I actually am co-hosting with Mike King. He does the Graveyard Shift Horror podcast. He's on Instagram. You can find him under the Graveyard Shift Horror Pod or the Graveyard Shift Pod, I believe is how he has it on there. Been podcasting for a while together. And of course, I have 2 new episodes out for season 2. So last Wednesday and then this past Wednesday. So I just, been watching tons of movies. For the other podcast I do, we watch all kinds of shit. I'm talking about like we do theme months, or he'll pick out something, and I have watched stuff that I never thought I would watch ever. hasn't been the best movies, but if you listen to our podcast as well, you'll see that it's he had me watching some black and white films, and they're not my favorite.
Not my cup of tea either. I
Yeah.
think you and me are very similar. We're firmly fixed in the 80s and 90s, and anything out of that's kind of
Yes.
like, nah, if I have to.
Yeah, well, it's part of the podcast, and so he knows what I don't like already. So he'll still be like, "Come on, you got to push through it," and I'm like, "I'm gonna be bitching the whole time, just letting you know."
Yeah.
So there you go. But that's what I've been up to. Just watching tons of movies, starting my stuff back, still podcasting on the
I'm
side.
thrilled your stuff's back. For
Yeah,
anyone
me too.
who does listen to me, it needs to go and listen to you. Your debut episode back. I've not listened to the second one yet, but your debut
Yeah.
episode was fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so
It had
much.
me laughing within the first 2 minutes. I nearly choked on my drink. It is so good. And I'm so glad you're back, because I've been badgering you for ages going, when are you back? When are you back?
Yeah. Oh, I know you're like, no new episode. What's going on? I know. It's like I said, that break just ended up being, did I need it for my mental health? A little bit, kind of, you get overwhelmed, as you know, being a new podcaster and trying to keep up with everything. It gets overwhelming because you want to do a really great job on podcasting. You want your show to be good. So I just needed to take a break, and I need it, even though I was doing the other podcasting, it was all super formatted. And guess what? I didn't have to do any work other than watch the movie.
Well, which, let's be honest, that's the bit that we all enjoy. I love doing this show, but
yeah,
I love watching the movies. That's the whole reason I do it, and
me
that's
too.
the reason I do the polls, so people can. But I'm terrible at picking a movie, so I will scroll through for hours and can't find anything. That's why I do the polls for the show, because someone else tells me what to watch. It's so much easier.
See, you're different than I when it comes to that, because I just pick what I like. I mean, I pick stuff I don't love as well, because that's kind of part of being able to give my silly kind of my bitchy review. But I have not gone to that realm of things as far as like, hey, pick my movie, guys, because then I'm like, oh, but what if I don't like what they picked?
So there are times when I'll get a poll and it'll be like the greatest movie ever up against the biggest bag of shit ever made, and I'm already starting to take notes on the really great film, and then it loses, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to watch this shit.
I know.
And that's happened quite a few times.
Believe me, like I said, like I mentioned, I have watched a handful of movies where I said to myself, I would never have watched this in my own free time. Being a horror fan, it doesn't matter. These are just some things that, like, I knew they were going to be shit before I watched them. But like I said, it makes the podcast funny. You hear me ranting. So there you go. And all the technological stuff. See, I don't have to do that on the other podcast. I don't have to edit or do anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm good.
I'm glad you're back. I'm going to let you have a good old rant about camping and about the Blair Witch Project. But first of all, I'm going to get the 3-word reviews from this week's listeners. I asked you for them. You delivered them. This week's 3-word reviews. My mind is absolutely blown completely blown. The most common 3-word review this week was never seen it. Wow. Wow. How can so many people not have seen this movie? I'm not going to say that this will be the greatest movie you've ever seen, because it won't. But this is a benchmark. This is a genre-changing movie for found footage. Without this movie, found footage would not have become what it is today. So you really, really, really must go and watch this movie. And that's my homework for you after this episode. Go and find The Blair Witch if you've not seen it and give it a watch. Anyway, this week's 3-word reviews coming all from Instagram. We've got The Goddess of Darkness, boring as fuck. Ben Oakman, still holds up. West of Arkham, motion sickness inducing. Pip Shop Homebrew, original reality horror. And finally, Haunted Honeys, just wipe it. Real mixed bag this week. There's real strong feelings both ways about this movie. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about our 3-word reviewers. So The Goddess of Darkness is an alternative model. Ben Oakman is an artist and a movie buff. West of Arkham is a horror fan, Halloween addict and maker. Pip Shop Homebrew is a home brewer and horror fan. And finally, Haunted Honeys is a spirit doll rehomer. Thank you very much to everyone who gave a 3-word review this week. Links to all of you will be in the episode bio. And I really do appreciate everyone who gives 3-word reviews. So when you see them pop up on our Instagram or our Twitter or our Facebook or wherever, please get involved. And there's a good chance you'll get a shout out on the show. And that was this week's 3-word review. So thank you very much to everyone who contributed to a 3-word review this week. Right, Heather, I'm going to let you unleash now. First of all, let's get your initial thoughts on, would you be willing to go and do this trip for the Blair Witch Project? That, like, I've been out into the forest and I recorded the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
Put in the same situation of doing a documentary on a witch in the forest over a weekend. Would you be down for that?
I mean, that's going to be a hard no for me, dog. Basically, because look, a whole weekend walking through woods, as we know with this fucking movie, it's like, let's just keep walking. Somebody, what's his face? Was it Michael? He lost he threw the fucking map in the water like a dick. First of all, he's got to go. That's annoying. So I guess it's like, then you have Josh, who is fucking basically verbally abusive to Heather the entire fucking movie. Well, they kind of both are. And it's just so much like arguing. But I feel that because I think if you don't like camping like me and you're kind of in the middle of the woods, everything pisses you off. It's hot or it's too cold or it's rainy and your fucking tent won't go up and you have to sleep on the ground. And so for me, as much as I love scary stuff, I love haunted places, I'm just not going to be okay with staying the whole weekend in some woods. So yeah, that's a hard no for me. Is there a hotel or a cabin? Because then I'm down. We can go hunt during the day.
I'm not scared of much. I'm a little bit like you. I'm quite resilient to horror, and I've been to haunted places, and I'm a bit like, meh, and it doesn't really bother me. And like for the first episode, I recorded with 4 haunted dolls that I bought, and it was the dolls were a bit creepy, but it didn't really scare me. When I went into the forest to record this, and we hiked for a good 20 minutes into the forest in the pitch black, and then found a log to sit on and record. That is probably the most uncomfortable 2 hours of my life.
It's horrible.
Because you've got things like where we are in the New Forest, you've got deers and you've got horses that are wild. So there's things moving around in the bushes and in the trees, and I can hear them, and they're getting closer because they're being cute. It was just awful. It was so
fuck
bad.
that. You have fucking horses. Like, you just added a whole nother fucking element that I will not tolerate. Horses, like, so this is a thing where you're at, of course. I guess I get that, but in my neck of the woods, and if we, going camping around here, there's lots of places to go camping where I live, but then you can also travel, and go places. If I see a fucking horse, like my ass is gone. Like I don't even have time for that. This is not the fucking old west. Like what?
It's for you.
It's happening. I mean, I already have to deal with like we have a lot of snakes here, right? We have poisonous snakes. I don't do snakes. I don't do mosquitoes, which they're really bad here. It's just that I think what it is as a culture, as everybody, we are typically very spoiled in that sense of like, oh, well, I can just stay in my warm house or I can go rent a hotel or a cabin. Like everybody wants those luxuries. And so for the people that like camping, that's a different breed of person. I'm just saying. That's a different breed.
And I've got
Like,
nothing against that. If people like camping, that's great.
yeah.
You do
Yeah, it's
your thing.
cool.
I'm going to do mine in my nice hotel, watching you out the window, where it's
Exactly.
warm and I can have a drink and I can switch on a TV and watch a movie.
See, that's me too. Exactly. That's how I am. And it's like, I mean, you could bring your smartphone, right? But think about it. If you go camping in these fucking isolated places, you might not even get any, I mean, you're not going to get a signal or anything. So you're basically like, well, we're all going to die anyway. So there you go.
I think for me that's one of the scary elements about the Blair Witch.
Hmm.
Not so much the Blair Witch itself, but being
No.
in the depths of the forest and not knowing how the fuck to get out and having no contact with the outside world. That would be what would scare me more.
Well, that and the lack of, well, they didn't have anything to eat. They started, well, quickly ran out of food. You have to worry about that. You're going to dehydrate because you can't just go and drink that water from the little stream because, I mean, it could kill you right then. So yeah, you have all these factors going against you. And I think, I agree with you. That makes it more terrifying than some witch, and I'm putting quotations up in the air because it's like, well, okay, that's kind of spooky, but no, you really are going to actually die,
Yeah.
not from the witch, like because you're fucking hungry. That's
Yeah, and
why.
I think put you in that situation, I think you'd be so pissed off that when the witch came, you'd probably end up
Be
punching
like,
her.
fuck you, bitch. Be like, fuck you, bitch. Fucking witch, bitch. Like I'd be like, whatever. I'd be like, I wasted all my fucking time to see you, and like I'm starving, and all I want is like some food and a glass of wine and some water. Like I'm thirsty and I'm hungry. Yeah, I would be in such a bad mood. So basically anybody that went with me, they'd be like, I hope this witch gets this bitch right here. I hope she gets her.
Well, when I watched it back, I've not seen the Blair Witch for years. When I watched
Yeah,
it back, I'd completely forgotten that the main character's name was Heather.
it
So
is.
I chuckled quite a bit because her mood throughout is quite upbeat, and I was like, that's not the same as that's not the
No,
same as
that's
Heather.
no, but she does. Hey, but she does turn very bitchy, and she is okay. I will say I didn't particularly like all of their characters were a little bit. I wouldn't say cynical, but you have the two guys, and then you have her, and Heather was just like bossy, and I get that. I'm kind of bossy, so I kind of get that. But again, then she started to get on your. I think as the movie progresses, she starts to get on your fucking nerves because
Yeah,
it's like you just got us lost, like because you said you knew these woods but you didn't, and now
yeah.
they're pissed off and everybody's mad.
Oh, and I get that completely. I mean, I was
Yeah,
when I went in, I was taken in by so the person I went in with knew where he wanted to go and record, and we'd been and scouted it out during the day. And we
yeah,
found it relatively easy in the dark. Coming back out, we did get lost, and we were only 20 minutes in. We didn't get majorly lost, but lost enough where we're going, oh, we need to get our bearings. Where is everything? We need to
yeah,
get
that's
back on.
scary.
And that we're 20 minutes in. They've hiked in for a whole day and then got basically they're fucked. They're not getting out.
No, they're like lost for like what was it, 2 3 about 3 days I think, and I'm thinking, okay, after the first day, she has this map. She just swears she knows how to use this map, and I'm like, you're not fucking Dora the Explorer, so like I don't know what's happening.
Hola, soy Dora.
Right? You need fucking boots to help you
I'm Boots.
because you're lost. And then Asswipe goes and throws the map away, but I think it was out of frustration, like because she kept getting them lost, and also there was this supernatural vibe. So I guess you would blame the Blair Witch for the reason why they could never get out of the woods. It was like you're in these woods now and you can't leave because that was the purpose, I guess, that she was going to, they were going to die. So
Yeah,
there
see,
you
I
go.
watched this with Lisa, and Lisa's gone, well, it's the witch's fault they can't get out. I said, it's not the witch's
Yeah.
fault. It's their fault because they can't read a fucking map. They need to learn to read the map and they'd be fine. The witch
I
is
think
just
I'm
sat
going
there
to
going,
agree
this
with
is easy.
Lisa. I think I will agree with Lisa more so on that. Like, yeah, I know that Heather kept claiming to be this, like, she knew where they were at. Like, she knew. Really, did she? Did she know that well, or was it the witch? Like, hey, you're in here. You shouldn't go in these woods to begin with. And my thing is like, why didn't you bring enough shit with you? Because, like, what if something happens? Why wouldn't you bring enough food? Like, I don't get it. People, like, I swear, I know it's a movie, but I'm like, use your fucking brain.
It is a movie, but because I remember that all the advertising for this when it first came
Mm-hmm.
out, and this wasn't advertised as a movie.
Nope.
This was advertised as this was real found footage.
Yep.
And everyone bought into that, even to the point that I know that IMDb had the 3 actors as deceased for over a year.
Yep, they did.
Which is absolutely insane.
Well, I think that was just the appeal of trying to get people to be really scared, and then you find out that, of course, the movie is fake, but not only that, like, the entire story of something like the Blair Witch, it's not even true because it was all fabricated. But at
Yeah.
the time, yes, same as with what was it, Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
Same thing. They advertised it. You're like, oh shit, no, total spoof. That was how, I mean, they made all this money, and it was like it cost like nothing to film it. So it's crazy, but, like, again, I don't really get scared by things like that. It
No.
doesn't really bother me.
I think they've done a very good job. But as we've dipped onto facts now, I think this is a good time for me to go into our listener facts and fuck up. So let's do that. You are now listening to Long Road. This is a track by Madman Audio, and one that unfortunately doesn't feature in our show. Madman Audio's musical range is so wide, and he's got so many tracks that I physically cannot squeeze them all into an episode. So what I'd like you to do is go to YouTube, type in Madman Audio, go and listen to the music that he creates, click subscribe, show him the support that he deserves, and he really, really does deserve it. He's such a great supporter of the show, and he's so incredibly talented. Please, please, please send your love to Madman Audio by subscribing to his YouTube channel and following him on Instagram, madman_audio. And from me personally, thank you so much for everything you do for this show. I'm going to kick this off with the fact from one of our listeners. This week comes from Horror and Hallmark. So before I give the fact, I'm going to give a bit of context to this fact. So when the 3 actors are in the woods, they are in character all the time. That was something that they'd done to make it authentic. If any of them wanted to break their character, they come up with a code word, and the code word for that was taco. I don't know why, but it was. So that's our fact from Horror and Hallmark. Now into my facts. So my facts for this movie: Heather Donahue's mum received sympathy cards from people who saw the movie and thought her daughter had died in the forest. The 3 actors, so that's Josh, Mike and Heather, all believed when they started filming and when they were in the woods that the Blair Witch was a real legend. It wasn't until after filming the film they realised that the whole thing was fictional and the whole legend behind the Blair Witch was created, that there is no Blair Witch. Josh's shouts in the final scene of the movie were pre-recorded and played through speakers in the forest. It wasn't actually Josh shouting. And the original cut of this movie that they released for the early screenings was 2.5 hours long, which is mental. This film is easily done in the hour, and I think it's an hour and 27 minutes. As far as I'm concerned, that's a perfect length. Any longer and it is going to drag. So I don't know why they released that. Into fuck-ups. There are lots of fuck-ups in the Blair Witch. I'm going to pick on one. And it's one because it really, really bugged me. It really, really, really fucking grated on me. They crossed the stream multiple times in this movie. Instead of wasting all their time going across logs and falling in the water and jumping over it and all the other shit they did, if they had picked one side of the stream and followed it downstream, it would have eventually taken them out of the forest. So those were the facts and fuck-ups for the Blair Witch. I know you've done a bit of digging in as well, Heather.
I did, a little bit.
What facts and fuck-ups have you got for us? Because I'm pretty sure you've got a couple.
I do have a couple. All right, we'll start with some of kind of the goofs, like the fuck-ups, so that are actually in the film. So we have one where so there's a shot of them. Of course, they're all three of them. Josh, Michael, and Heather. They're lost. But in one particular scene, and I think it was towards the beginning where they first kind of are like, "Oh shit, we're lost." You can see a field through a small gap in the trees, and I saw it in the movie, and I was like, "The road is right. The fuck are y'all doing? The road's right there. Like you can see it." So I think what happened is while they were shooting, probably didn't mean to get that footage, but you can see that all they had to do was turn their asses around, and they would have walked right out of the woods. Because I don't think those woods were as big as they made them out to be. So then there's another fuck up where at the beginning of the movie, they're in a convenience store or some grocery store, and Michael sees this like power bar, kind of like one of those, I don't know, like a granola type bar. They said that the movie was supposed to have taken place in 1994, which we know that's not true. I mean, well, we say it's not true. It came out in 99. But the thing is those particular cereal bars or whatever it was, they were not even available at that time. So the 1994 thing would have been completely fucked because it wouldn't have matched the timeline. So that was another thing they did wrong. I don't know why they did that. Stupid.
No.
I know it's like, I guess, if you knew your facts on that, you would know that. But there's another part where Josh and Michael, they're again confronting Heather on getting them lost. Well, you can hear her reply. You can hear her voice, never see her mouth move. But let's be honest, that has happened in several films that I've seen.
It has. That was one of the mistakes I found in the original Child's Play when Andy jumps on his mum's bed and he's jumping up and down saying, "Mummy, mummy, mummy." His mouth never moves at all.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. You're trying to produce a movie. I get that, but little mistakes like that are easily able to be fixed. And so, but you still leave it in the film. That's fine. Most people probably wouldn't have noticed that mistake in her talking and not seeing her mouth move. But of course, us as podcasters we pay attention to stuff. We see that. And I guess I'll throw in one more last little fuck up is the batteries in the camera. Okay. They brought their own cameras. But this is the thing. They were lost for days in the woods. It would be very unlikely that these batteries would have stayed charged this entire time. Now, you tell me, how is it that they're like, they're not able to plug anything in? So it would just, to me, it's unlikely.
Yeah, and that's never ever dawned on me, ever. I've watched this film 1,000 times and I've never ever once questioned why the batteries wouldn't have died. They would just die naturally, just with the I've never thought of that.
Well, yeah, just being drained. And even though of course when they went to sleep, they weren't filming at the time, but you have to think about all these hours of all day long of every day that they were out there, they're filming. And so anybody that's owned a handheld camcorder, right, because that's what they had, it was in the 90s, they don't stay charged that long. It would maybe like 8 hours, maybe for a day, and then you would have to charge it. So again, was it the supernatural thing? We don't I mean, it's like, what the fuck is happening?
I think the supernatural is meant to drain batteries, not charge them.
Well,
maybe the Blair Witch is just she's like a super battery charger.
Something's got to be going on, because we know those fucking batteries didn't last for that long.
No.
Because Heather wanted to film everything. Like, they were getting pissed off, and it's like, quit fucking filming us. Like, take the camera. No, she's like, no, I can't. And it's like, bitch, nobody wants you to film them having a mental breakdown.
Okay, hang on.
Like,
I
that's not
think
a
the
good.
line, there was a line that she said that really annoyed me, where she's like, "It's okay because we're going to watch this back and laugh about it." And all that went through my head was,
Mm-mm.
if I get out of the forest, I'm never going to speak to you again, let alone laugh about
Basically.
this.
Yeah, basically. That's me too. I'm like, fuck you. You're unfriended in real life,
Yeah,
not on social media.
yeah,
There
you're
you
unfriended and
go.
blocked. Don't call me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But those are just some of the things that are some of the goofs. There's obviously quite a few. If you really go into digging about the movie, whether you find them on IMDb or just do a Google search, there's so much shit that was wrong
Yeah,
with this
yeah,
movie.
there is, and again, I think that's down to the budget they had. It was such a low budget movie, and it done
It
so well
was.
on the back of it.
It
And
did.
this is the sort of, it had a sort of budget that if you had 6 or 7 of friends who had a little bit of cash, you could probably have stumped up the money to make this movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which in its own right is outstanding, because there's not many really low budget movies like this that become huge hits.
No, other than the Paranormal Activity franchise or
Yeah,
the franchise. I mean,
well,
they started getting ridiculous, but yeah, I
you've got
mean, same
one
thing.
and two. What one and two are okay, and then it goes a bit
Yeah, it's
downhill
stupid.
quick. Yeah,
Let's just say it. They're fucking stupid. The
yeah,
first
they
two
are.
they did good. The first one was kind of convincing. It scared you to the point to where you're like, okay, well, this is kind of creepy. But then, part two, you're like, okay, I can watch this. And then there you go. They ruin movies.
Yeah, when they get to 3, 4, and 5, I'm just watching it going, no, that's the same shit you done in number one. You done that in
Exactly.
number
It's the
two.
same thing. Yeah. They
Yeah,
run out of storyline. So,
yeah, they run out of storyline and run out of ideas, so they just
yep.
recycled them, made them a little bit bigger. Instead of it just
Yep.
moving a drawer, we're going to make it move everything.
Yeah, and like I said, that's not. I do like found footage films, quite a bit, but that franchise would not be on my radar to watch over and over again. Have I seen them all? Yes, I've seen them all, but
Well,
it's not something I'm
there's
gonna
another one
watch.
coming. There's another one coming of the Paranormal
Oh
Activity
Jesus,
franchise. From what I've
that
heard, it's a reboot.
well, that ghost is tired. They need to stop.
Yeah.
They need to stop.
The,
Like,
the,
come
the,
on now.
the problem is, though, that ghost has still got lots of money left in it. They've not
I
run
guess
it dry
so.
yet. I say that they need to squeeze a little bit more out of it, and then they'll be done with it.
Oh yeah, just like with any other franchise where you go past about 3 movies, other than the Scream franchise, which I really enjoyed, basically all of them. I really like them a lot,
Yeah, and
except for the one that I did do my podcast on.
yeah, you picked the only one you didn't like, which I thought was that. That was the first bit that got me laughing straight away.
I
I
mean,
love it.
yeah,
I love the Scream franchise, so I picked the only one I don't like.
you got to be able to talk shit.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
pointless. It didn't really belong in. It didn't really belong in the franchise. So
no, it didn't. What are your hopes like for Scream 5?
I'm kind of on the fence. Okay, if you really ask me that, that's like a loaded question in a way, because I don't really know where they're going to go with it. Because when they did the first one, right? The first one is fantastic. I mean, it is one of my all-time favorite. It is favorites ever. And then you get into the rest of it, and there's a lot of comedy elements in the rest of the franchise, if you ask me. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny. They're not scary. The first one actually had some good parts in it that were kind of terrifying. I just don't know where I don't know where they're going to go with it. It's the same as the Halloween. They have the Halloween Kills that's coming out, right? Or is
Yeah,
it already out? I can't
not
remember.
yet. Very, very shortly.
But that's the thing. Who's going to be the killer this time? Everybody's a suspect, right? That's kind of the shtick of the franchise. But it's like, who the fuck is going to be the killer now?
I think I might go out on a limb here. I think we might see Matthew Lillard back.
You see, Sid, everybody dies, but us. Everybody dies, but us. We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
I read that. I actually read a little fan theory thing about him possibly being,
Because they pushed a TV on his head, didn't they? So there's a good
hmm
chance he survived that.
Yeah, because she never went back to check if he was actually dead. It was just kind of like, okay, TV on your head. Um, that would hurt you pretty badly. I've
Yeah.
never thrown a TV on anybody's head, but you never
No,
know.
especially the big old back TVs. And a lot of our listeners probably
Exactly.
don't remember the big tube TVs that took 3
Ooh.
people to move them from room to room.
Y'all got to learn. Y'all got to learn because I used to have a TV that was, I'm talking about, it had wheels on the bottom. You had to push it. It was so old because of my stepdad. He had it. It was like antique at its finest. It was ridiculous, and it was so heavy. Now, if that fell on your head, you're gone.
Yeah.
Like you're dead. But yeah, so I like that theory. I hope he does return. That'll be really awesome. I really love him. Just don't know. I'm kind of like neutral on it. I don't, as much as I bitch about it, I still am going to see it, of course. And even Halloween Kills, I'm still going to watch it, like
Yeah.
obviously. But
Yeah, and I
it's
want
stupid.
both of them to be good, and I want Scream 5 to be good. I'd like to see them be able to revive the franchise, even if it is only for one more movie. I'd like to see it.
I hope so. I mean, I hope they do something good with it because Halloween 2018, it was all right. But, now we have the Halloween Kills coming out. And then, of course, they redid Candyman, which was fantastic, by the way. I know we're not talking about that, but I have to throw that in there. I really loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good.
I've had some real mixed feedback on Candyman. I'm due to go and see it in about a week's time. But
Cool.
some
Yeah.
people, I think it's from what I can gather, it's one of those films you either really, really love it or you're just a little bit disappointed. I've had people come out and go, it wasn't what I expected it to be. And then I've had other people say it's incredible.
Okay, well, to throw something in there real quick, that's the thing about it. It's not going to be what you thought. You can't ever redo the original Candyman, okay?
No.
Because you're not dealing with Tony Todd. You're dealing with a different story that kind of plays into the original. It does, but you also have Jordan Peele, who is directing this movie. I'm just going to let you know you got to stay woke for this movie because there is a lot of there's a lot of lessons in it. Actually, it kind of talks about certain things, and maybe that's why some people don't enjoy it because they're like, oh, they went this direction, and we get it, dealing with the African American culture and stuff. But it's really good, and the kills are pretty good in it, so I think you might like it. Actually,
Yeah,
I think you may enjoy
it's
it.
on my list. So we've got a date night next week
Cool.
where I'll be going to watch it. So
Yeah.
I'll let you know what I think.
Yes, definitely. Let me know.
You've done a quiz on this show before. You've done
Oh God, I did.
horror, not horror, and you finished
Yeah.
third overall last season. So you've done pretty
Okay.
well.
Pretty okay.
Horror, not horror is gone, and it's been replaced with a new game called Purge or Play. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the hardest quiz in horror.
Oh gosh.
But by a mile. But it starts off really easy. So there's 10 questions.
Okay.
For each question you get correct, you get 5 points.
Okay.
If you get a question wrong, you get no points. You get 3 purges, which effectively are passes. And you can use one of those at any time. When I ask you a question, you can go, I'll purge that question. You don't have to answer it.
Yeah.
And you still get 2 points. So you still get points for skipping the question.
You get points even if you don't do well.
Even if you skip it, yeah. But you've got to try and hang on to your purges as long as you can. Because when you get to like the last 3 questions, they're questions that you're either going to know the answer or you're not going to know the answer.
Oh, God.
So,
okay.
are you ready to take on Purge or Play?
Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Let's hope. I told you I don't test well, but let's go.
you say that, but you did test well. You came third last season. So
I know, but it's. I have a reputation, and I should know a lot. I should know everything about horror. But that's the thing. You are really good about tricking up when you do these questions. But I'm ready. I don't care if I fail. I'm gonna do it.
You are now entering the Purge or Play arena. The quiz for Home of Halloween's You Run podcast. The question is, will you purge or will you play? Right, here we go then. So question number 1. What is the name of the killer clown in Stephen King's It?
Pennywise.
It is Pennywise, so you're off to a flying start. That's 5 points. Question number 2.
That's because it's easy.
It is. They start really easy. They get harder quite quickly. So number
there we
2.
Go.
What movie kills someone by forcing them to eat too much food?
Oh God. I know I don't have a whole a long time to answer these either. What movie? Oh my God.
If you want, if you don't know it, you can always use a purge, or you can take a guess. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I don't want to use a purge already. That one's like where you eat too much. Fuck. I'm gonna have to just take a purge on it because I can't think of it.
Okay, that's fine. So that's 2 points for you. It was 7.
Oh my God. I was literally about to say that. I was going to say it and I said, no, that's not right. But it fucking is. Okay. Anyway, I just wasted a pass, you guys.
Question number 3. Friday the 13th was almost called another name. What was it?
Oh my God. It had something to do with was it Camp Blood?
It was something at Camp Blood.
Oh my God. Something at Camp Blood. I remember the Camp Blood part, but I can't remember the rest of it. Oh my God. I don't know. I hate to use another pass, but I know something about Camp Blood, but now when you're asking me, I don't know.
Do you want to use a purge, or do you want to just get no points for that one?
I'll just get no points.
No points. Okay.
Yeah.
It was Long Night at Camp Blood.
Fuck, I had part of it. Like part of it. Yeah, see, I forgot the first part of that because I knew I remember reading that and but the first part of it I didn't remember that.
Number 4. How many people does Jason Voorhees kill in the very first Friday the 13th?
Okay, well, he doesn't kill anybody in the first one because it's his mother that is killing everybody.
That's correct.
All right,
so
yes.
5 points. You're doing well. Right, number 5. If you don't get this one, I think you're going to kick yourself very, very hard.
Probably.
Especially based on our conversation a minute ago. So what is the number 1 rule to survive a horror movie, according to Randy in Scream?
Oh, God. Number 1 rule is, oh, my God. I just went over this. Oh my God, this is going to drive me crazy because I know that you're like you don't run upstairs. That's like one of the things, but we're talking about with Randy.
Yes, it's the first rule. When he rattles off the rules, it's the first rule that he says.
Yes. Oh my God, I am going to kick myself because now I went complete. Like I think that I like clam up whenever I'm asked these questions, but as soon as like we get off the recording, it's like oh I know the answer. Not everybody's a suspect. I don't know. Fuck.
You've still got 2 purges if you want to use either of those.
I'll use a purge.
You use a purge, so you've got 2 points for that. And the first rule is don't have sex.
Number 1, you can never have sex.
Oh God. And I said that in my, I know, like, that's what I'm telling you. Like, I know these answers. So you guys don't think I'm stupid. I'm not that dumb.
Number 6. What movie is this line from? This is no dream. This is really happening.
Oh God.
This is so hard, this quiz. It's super, super, super difficult.
Yeah, it is because that's a very vague. Well, like in generality, it's pretty vague. I mean, I could guess like Nightmare on Elm Street, but just because it deals with that, but I'm pretty sure that's not right.
Okay, so do you want to guess or do you want to use your final purge? You've still got 4 questions after this one.
No, I'm just gonna say Nightmare on Elm Street. If it's not wrong, I'd take no points. I'm not using my final purge.
It was Rosemary's Baby.
Oh fuck! I haven't seen that movie in like 5 years. I love it though.
Okay, so number 7. Who does Jay see first in the movie It Follows?
Oh God. I've only seen that movie one time, and I'm just going to take no points for it because I'm not using
Okay.
my because I feel like I need to keep that
You're
for something
saving it.
else. I'm
It
saving
was
it.
the first person he saw was a naked woman.
Okay, yeah. See, it has been. I saw it one time, and it wasn't really my favorite. You know what I mean? That one's kind of a 50-50 thing for people too. But so I can't remember.
Next question is Blair Witch related.
Mm,
How long did it take to film the Blair Witch?
8 days.
Wow, it was 8 days. That's another 5 points. Wow,
I remember that because I remember that. Like for some reason, see how crazy I am? It's like, oh, you couldn't remember the first rule in how to survive a horror movie, but you can remember how long it took to film Blair Witch.
right.
Anyways, yay.
Yeah, number 9. What movie is someone hit in the face with an axe while listening to "Hip to Be Square"?
Oh, that's is that American Psycho?
It is American Psycho. Wow, you're doing pretty well on the really hard ones, and you've got one last question, and you've got a
Oh,
purge left. We'll do this last question, but I think your score is going to be incredibly hard to beat. The final
okay.
question: the Ring movies originate in which country?
Is it Japan?
It is Japan. So that's another
Hmm.
5 points, and you've got a purge left, and that purge is now worth
Yay.
an additional 3 points to you.
Okay, awesome.
Let
Well,
me
you know what? I love American Psycho, so woo, I
I
knew that one.
I thought that was going to be. I'm genuinely shocked at how well you've done. That is an incredible score. I'm just adding it up now. So it's 14, 24, 29. Wow, you have scored 32 points, which,
Yay,
which is
I did much better.
that is an outstanding score. I'm not going to tell you where you are in the scores
Okay.
against everyone else. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is periodically throughout this season is I'm going to post
Uh-huh.
on my Instagram story a leaderboard
Okay.
with
Okay,
everyone on it
cool.
and their score. So everyone can keep track and see if anyone's getting close to them. But I am going to say that is an exceptionally high score that I had a little side bet with Lisa that no one would score over 25, and you've annihilated that. So yeah,
Uh-oh. You lost the bet with a wife,
Uh,
so
I now need to make the questions even harder.
yeah, yeah. No, I was surprised. I know, like you said, they were going to get harder, but it's funny that I got those the last, three hardest questions, but I love American Psycho. So as soon as you said that, I was like, no, I know it because I love Christian Bale and I love that movie so much. So
I, I do. I try and make the later questions. I try and make them very, very specific. So it's a question that you
yeah,
either know the answer or you don't, and
exactly.
it's pot luck. If it falls in someone's wheelhouse of what they watch, they're going to get it. If it doesn't,
Hmm.
then because I could give that same question to 5 other people and they'd all stare at me blankly.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Incredible score, absolutely
Yay.
incredible. So well done to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that was this week's Purge or Play.
I gave you back the map, Heather. I gave you back the map.
Wow, so you've rattled through the quiz that I claimed was incredibly hard, and you've made it look incredibly easy.
Yeah, somewhat.
It- you've given a bit of a rant on the Blair Witch. I want to steal another thing from your show. I want to get a bit of what have we learned from the Blair
Okay.
Witch. So if you've got some what have we learned facts, because this is one of my favourite features on your show.
Thank you.
I love what did we learn.
Well, they're always fun because you watch a movie and you think about all the things, especially for a horror fan, you think about all the things that you would do different, or you look at these mistakes that they make and you're like, okay, well these are easy mistakes and anybody would do this. But I think for the Blair Witch, what we can learn from that is you never go camping with two hotheads, right? Make sure that everybody is really chill and they're all excited because I'm telling you, these two guys were borderline. They were kind of crazy and abusive. And I get it that Heather got them lost. But again, go camping with people that you love and that love you. Okay, let's do that. Something else that we could learn, maybe if you want to go investigate the supernatural, make sure that you bring an extra camera with you for backup. Even though this one it shows that we know in reality, this is the point of the lesson. In reality, your one camera is not going to last you the whole fucking time.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to add one.
Yes.
If you're going to go and record a podcast in the forest, and you tell your guest that you're going to do this before you record with them, and you dig yourself into a hole where you have to do it, go and do it in the day and pretend you didn't. Pretend you done it at night. Don't do it at night because it is fucking terrifying.
There you go. That's a really good lesson. Yes, like it's okay to fib. A little white lie never hurt anybody. And how would we know? How would anybody know?
Well, that leads in quite nicely because you are going to know because I'm going to release it. So the person who came with me videotaped me doing it, videotaped me recording the episode.
I'm
Because
excited.
I'm always worried about people calling me out on stuff. It's like when I recorded with the Haunted Dolls, I went and bought Haunted Dolls on eBay and various other places. So when I recorded with those, I was I'm a very skeptical person, and what I didn't want people going is, you're just sat there. There's no dolls there. You're full of shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then I done an extra video that I released today on Instagram that's got the dolls and what they
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
because I want people to know that I'm not just phoning it in. If I'm saying I'm going to go into the depths of the forest at night, I'm actually doing it, and I want people to know that I do what I say I'm doing. I'm not just sat and fabricating it all, and that's important to me that people know that I actually do it.
Yeah, no, for sure it is. Yeah, dolls never really scared me, but I get that. Like, you do want to hold some authenticity to your show because you don't want to just say that you're doing something and then you really didn't do it, and then it adds something to your listeners,
Yeah,
to their pleasure of everything.
and I think them being able to, for this episode in particular, being able to see me sat in the forest and see the fear in my eyes, I think will definitely add something.
I think so. That's cool. I mean,
Um,
hey, you're ballsier than I would be because I'd go ahead and be like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm good. I'm on.
I really struggled to get someone to come with me. I
I
really
wouldn't have
struggled.
that problem, but
Well, we were
I'm
at
not doing it.
we were at a barbecue, and I rattled through pretty much all of my friends. Like, come on, someone's got to go. And everyone was
Yeah.
just like, heads down, having a drink. No one was interested. And then eventually, someone went, "I will come with you." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's fantastic." And then
Yeah.
when they did come with me, they were just. I wish I'd had a camera to record them, but they were just as jittery as me. It was good fun.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's good fun. You did something for your podcast. That's totally cool. But go ahead and count me out forever.
You can do it.
Like,
Yeah.
that's my invite. You know, your invite. This is my response to your invite. Never, ever, ever. No, I'm good.
I just take the positives that I didn't get killed by a serial killer, and I got home and I got to record the rest of the podcast with you. So that's a big win in my books.
Well, there you go. Oh, and you didn't get trampled by a fucking horse because that's the most insane thing I think I've heard in a long time. I'm just like, what? There are
You will
horses? Like,
when I release the video, you will see some horses. Thankfully, we didn't see
oh
them
my
at
gosh, I
night,
can't
but we
wait.
saw that we saw them while we were hiking up and waiting for it to turn and get really dark. So yeah, there's some that
Oh
make the
gosh.
final cut.
Okay.
It's been
That's
a
really
pleasure.
cool.
It's been a pleasure to have you on again, Heather.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you, before we go, just remind everyone where they can find you and where they can find your show and the show you're co-host of? Because I listen to both and I really enjoy both. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to sway more and say I much prefer your show. I really like your show. I love the one you
Well,
co-host,
thank you.
but your show's
Yeah.
the better one for me. I prefer it. I just find it funny. It's such a good show.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But, you know, for anybody that wants to give me a listen or for the show that I am co-hosting on, you can of course find me on Instagram under Wednesday Wine and Horror. It's one word, give me a follow. All my links are in my bio, so it'll take you right there to listen to my episodes. For season 2, I do only have 2 out so far, but next Wednesday, I will have a new one. It'll be crazy and drunk, and who knows what I'm going to pick. For the other show that I co-host on, the Graveyard Shift Pod or horror podcast, same thing. You can find that page on Instagram, and I believe it's just the Graveyard Shift Pod, all one word. And we do episodes weekly as well. Now, Mike, he actually puts out the episodes on Mondays. So every Monday, there's a new episode. For September, we are doing the 70s Had Bite. So the whole month of September, you get a new episode on vampires, but they're all from the 70s. So he does themes, and so there you go. But you'll still hear me either way. I'm drunk in all of them. I'm just going to be honest. Like super drunk.
That's great. If there's people who binge podcasts, and I know there's a lot of them. I know there's a lot who listen to my show and Will yours and the Graveyard Shift as well. Mm-hmm. On a Monday, they get the Graveyard Shift. On a Tuesday, they get my show. And on Wednesday, they get your show.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. You can binge.
What a great start to the week.
There you go. Because Wednesday's like the middle of the week, but then you have Monday. So it's like Mondays are always in the doldrums, usually. So it's like, hey, go ahead, take a listen. You're going to still hear a lot of my style that I use for my podcast, where I basically do the review of a movie from beginning to end and just add in my crazy shit. You'll hear me still bitch and rant and complain on the other podcasts. Again, I'm drinking. I usually drink wine, even on my other podcast. Sometimes I have a cocktail, and then shit really gets crazy. Let's just say. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I really hope that, everybody gives, your show a listen, and everybody tries out my 2 shows. And there you go. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah, no, that's definitely it. And well, thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Heather, for coming back on the show.
Absolutely. Anytime.
I'm sure you'll agree with me. It was fantastic to have Heather back on the show. Heather's so much fun, and she's so nice, and she's just absolutely wild, and I can't thank her enough. So thank you, Heather, for coming on the show. Before I get into what's happening next week, we've had a message come in, and I want to play you that message, and then after that, I'm going to talk about what's happening next week.
Hey, this is Robbie Horror, and you can catch me on This Movie Got Game Week, coming very, very soon.
That's right. Robbie Horror is coming to the You Run podcast. If you don't follow Robbie Horror, go to Instagram right now and follow Robbie Horror. Robbie's going to be on in a few episodes' time. He's going to be joining us for This Movie Got Game Week, which the poll for that's going to be coming out very shortly. That week is something that's very different for this show, and very different for me as well. So you'll be picking from movies that all came from video games. Me and Robbie are both really excited to do that episode, and I can't wait to have him on the show. So you can be wowed by him, because you're going to be wowed by him. But that's a little way off yet. So I'm going to talk about what's happening next week. Next week, I'm joined by 2 outstanding guests. I'm joined by Kim and Tyler from Hey Kim and Tyler. Go and find their account on Instagram or on TikTok and give them a follow. They are one of the funniest accounts around anywhere. They really, really are. They are so funny. They're such a great couple. And they're going to be coming on for Crazy Clown Week, and we're going to take on the original Tim Curry, Stephen King, It. So I'll catch you all for that next week. Thank you for listening to Home of Halloween's You Run podcast.
You've done your job well, and Mommy is pleased.
Don't forget you can get involved in the show in so many ways.
Truly.
The 3-word review.
He's insane now.
Give the show a call. Anchor.fm/Home of Halloween. Leave us a voicemail and get a play on the air.
Beers to the left of me, beers to the right of me, let's do it.
Not to mention, give us a fact.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
This is the You Run podcast, because you run the show.
Welcome to a new world of of gods and monsters.
If you enjoy the show, leave us a review wherever you can.
This is God.
Or reach out to us direct and send us a DM.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
You want to die tonight?